Today, we're diving into an eye-opening conversation from the Megyn Kelly Show, where she interviews Jordan Peterson. And trust me, both of them break down exactly.
Get ready, y'all. Get ready. Jordan Peterson and Megyn Kelly and this idiot. This is crazy.
Why the Snow White remake didn't just flop at the box office, it flopped with women themselves. It all starts with Megyn Kelly asking Jordan Peterson a question that gets right to the heart of why modern women are struggling in dating and why the new Snow White flopped with them. Let's get into it.
We men, we gotta be the weirdest. It's just such a weird statement.
Let me ask you this. I've been dying to ask you this. I speak with a lot of young conservative women regularly. And
why? Why would you do that to yourself? I couldn't do it.
And they are very aware of everything you've said. They've got their eye on the biological clock in a way the previous generation did not. They understand the risks of waiting too long to choose a partner, all of that. They do get it. But a lot of them still, they want a career of their own. They're driven professionally in that way. And what they ask me, Jordan, is, should I just settle? Should I just settle? You know, I'm 29 now. I have a career that I like. I haven't met the right guy yet, but there are guys who are interested in me. So should I just settle now for somebody who I'm really not that into?
Aha. Did you catch that? Conservative women, not just any women, conservative ones. And here's the thing about conservative women. They are women first.
No, you're missing it. Even conservative women are apprehensive about getting into relationships with men. Even conservative, listen again, even conservative women are like, man, I want a career. Dang, I don't know if I want to give up my freedom. Even conservative women are thinking that. That should tell you everything you need to know. The biggest pick-me's are even like, are men worth it?
Unlike modern feminists, conservative women still believe in romance, traditional courtship, and being pursued by a man. And you know who else is a conservative woman? Megyn Kelly. Now, if you've been watching the...
I don't think Megyn Kelly is actually. I think Megyn Kelly's a grifter. Now, I could be wrong. I haven't consumed a lot of Megyn Kelly content. I used to watch her more before. I can't remember. She was on Fox or whatever show. But I've seen her enough times. I think she's a grifter. I think at home she wears the pants in her relationship. I mean, I'm pretty sure. Like, I know she's assertive. I don't know. I believe she's assertive. By all intents and purposes, I'm pretty sure she is a, regular woman, a modern woman, if you will, in her relationship. Like, I'm almost 100% sure of that. But that's just me. That's my guess. But because I just think all these people are grifters, to be honest with you.
Channel. You know we already broke down how Megyn Kelly got her Prince Charming husband. Spoiler alert, she didn't settle for a bus driver. Her husband pursued her just like in a classic fairy tale. But this is where Jordan Peterson drops the red pill truth bomb.
Where did the settling for a bus driver come from? That was... What? That was... Wait, that was from Ebony. Ebony K. Williams was talking about the bus driver shit. I'm so like, what did that was actually stolen from a modern woman. Like, Ebony K. Williams is like the quintessential modern woman at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the woman they can't stand. Oh my gosh, she had a baby. How dare she have a baby through surrogacy on her? Well, not surrogacy. She had it. She got inseminated. I don't know what to call it. I don't know what the right word is. But yeah, she didn't get artificially inseminated. Is that what it would be called? Maybe. I don't want to be disrespectful to the thing. I don't know what it is though. But yeah. I know she didn't have it the old-fashioned way. That's what I know. But anyways, she said that. What the fuck does this have to do with Megyn Kelly? Like, wouldn't that be like liberal women that are the ones saying that, not conservative women? Or like, I don't, conservative women would settle for a bus driver before a liberal woman would in this instance. You know what I mean? Like, they would be the ones to be like, no, I'm not going to do that. Because they have higher standards and not pick-me's, they're like, I'll be with the man that shows up for me, a man that is a decent human being, you know, they have all these other things. And if he so happens to be a bus driver, I don't mind that, right? The red pillar women, the red pill adjacent women, the pick-me's, as it were, they'll get with anybody just because they want a man, because like Megyn Kelly is saying, their quote unquote biological clock is ticking.
Exposing why modern women are struggling in the dating market and why this Snow White remake failed to resonate.
Why do we think modern women are struggling in the dating market when modern women are choosing? Modern women are the reason men are struggling in the dating market. The reason why modern women are single is because of the actions of men. They're not actually struggling, though. They're doing fine. They're thriving. They're happier. They're healthier. They're safer. They make more money. They have more fulfilling friendships than men do. I don't know what you're talking. They're not struggling at all.
Because asking whether they should settle is the wrong question entirely. Peterson explains what they should be asking instead.
Well, the first thing I would ask is that who's settling in that equation? Like, it's quite
the woman is almost always settling.
The narcissistic proclamation that it's clearly you who's settling.
It's not narcissistic. It's an objective truth. It's not narcissistic. Like, I know they like to throw that word around anytime any chance they get. It's not narcissistic to assume that the group of people that is less likely to harm another group of people is the better person in the relationship. Just generally speaking, let's just go there with it.
You know, and that might even be more true if you're 29, because you're competing with a lot of 24-year-olds by that point, and they put a lot less biological pressure on a potential mate. Like, look, when I was out touring 3 nights in a row, the same question came up, because I do a Q&A at the end of my lectures, and this is in the last round of tours. And one of the questions was, how do I find the person that's right for me? And I didn't answer it the first night. There was something about the question I didn't like. And then it came up 2 more nights in a row and was voted up by the audience.
Keynote, guys, pay attention. This question kept coming back and was even voted up by the audience. That means a lot of women are struggling with this exact dilemma.
That's not what I mean. What's a lot? I like when you guys, I like words like most, majority, vast majority, you know. I don't know. I don't know what a lot is. I don't know what a lot is. If I had to venture to say, I would think of the women that are single, I think that probably 10% of them are like, oh man, I just can't find a mate. And they're like, you know, like not necessarily like lowering their standards or whatever, but just, you know, they just want to find the right partner. You know what I mean? Like they're actually actively looking for somebody. I think the vast majority of women that are single are just perfectly fine with being single. I think they like it. I think they embrace it. And I think they are actively signing up to be single, because the easiest thing in the world for a woman to get is a man. Easiest thing in the world for a woman to get is a man.
Keep that in mind.
And the third night I thought, oh, I know why I tried stumbling through an answer and it didn't work. And then the third night I thought, oh, I know what the problem is here. That's the wrong question. Because the right question is, how do I make myself into the sort of person that's so attractive to other people that potential mates are lining up for me? That's a way different question.
And here's what I hate about this conversation, and I will never not repeat it in these instances. In one breath, if you ask the man who has more options, men or women, they would say, oh, women by far. And they're jealous of women for having all of these options. We know that, right? But then in the next breath, Jordan Peterson is saying that, like, oh, women need to become the type of person that men want to be with or that men pursue. 99% of women are pursued by men. Maybe not 99% of women are pursued by some group of men or a man or whatever the case may be. Like I said, the easiest thing for a woman to get is a man. She can get a man easier than she can get the flu, than she can get COVID, than she can get a cold, than she can get Ebola. She can get a man easier than any fucking thing. She can get a man like that.
Then how do I find the person that's right for me? Like, first of all, who are you?
I like that.
And what's so special about you that
I like that. Why would you like that?
How do you know that the right person wouldn't take one look at you and run away screaming if they had any sense? Like, seriously.
So these people asked you this question and you instantly go to like negging them? Like straight out of a PUA handbook, pickup artist handbook, like straight to negging them. Well, who are you to think that you're a decent human being? I mean, I think I'm a decent human being. I treat others like human beings. Again, the same group of people that if you ask them, these are the same group of people that if you call them misogynistic, they'll say they're not misogynistic. And then you'll be like, well, you actually can't call yourself misogynistic. And they'll be like, I mean, you actually cannot say you're not misogynistic. You're not the authority. You can't say, no, I'm not. You don't get to say that. We get to determine if you're misogynistic, right? And they'll be the same group of people to be like, no, I get to say if I'm misogynistic or not. But if a woman says, God forbid, a woman thinks that she deserves to be with somebody that actually likes her, Jordan Peterson is going to be right there to tell you, who are you to deserve that?
Seriously, you're settling, are you? If you use that language, even the first thing you might ask yourself is, why do you start with such a high opinion of yourself and such a low opinion of the people who are pursuing you? Now, look, I understand that it's necessary to be attracted to a potential partner, and that women have the right and the duty to be picky. They should find a man who's going to be not
He's contradicting himself.
A child, and who's going to be very helpful to them in all ways, particularly when they have children, and who's going to be a good father. And so hooray to women for being picky. But that's not the same thing as...
Man, I swear to God, Jordan Peterson looks just like the guy from Handmaid's Tale, the husband. He looks like him. He's that guy. Like I don't know if I feel like they made his character based on Jordan Peterson. He looked like his suit. I know it was blue. If it was black or some drab ass color, gray or some shit like that, yeah, that would be him. Like everything about him, his hair, his beard, everything. He looks just like that fucking guy. Everything is crazy.
To women for being picky, but that's not the same thing as starting out narcissistic. We talked about Snow White. Before she could find a prince, she had to learn to be of service to the dwarves.
What? What? That might be the weirdest take I've ever heard. That's the weirdest take I've ever heard about Snow White, that she had to learn to be of service to the dwarves. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Like, that's worth thinking about. Now, you might think, well, why should we pay attention to a fairy tale? It's like, well, how about because people remembered it for 15,000 years and that Disney just spent $250 million trying to retell it and failed?
Boom! This is pure gold. What Jordan Peterson just exposed is what I like to call the narcissistic paradox. Here's the deal.
That means nothing. What is the narcissistic paradox? Okay, let's hear this.
The modern woman has been told her entire life that she is superior. She's got degrees, the high status career, and an endless supply of men giving her attention.
Who tells women that they're superior? I'm curious. Now, maybe women are telling women that they're superior, right? Maybe. But men, we know, aren't. Look at what you guys are doing right now. All you guys been doing is negging these women. But in reality, we know that studies show that women are far more likely to have a lower view of themselves than men are. Men overinflate their worth. They overinflate their value. They overestimate their skills. Women underestimate themselves. They underestimate their skills. Right? My wife says this to me all the time. She says, when I say something, like, and I mean it, like when I say something and I'm adamant about it, I'm 100% right every time. I can't. It's pretty fucking accurate. Like, I won't say 100%. I mean, just off the top of my head, I'm going to say 100%, but maybe she's been wrong a few times. But yeah, my wife was like, when I'm sure of something, when I'm sure of it, I'm 100% right. because my wife, she's not sure of herself all the time. She's not that type of person. She's also not like a, you know, she's confident, don't get me wrong, but she doesn't have an overinflated ego. I'm the opposite. Like I'll say, like I've been known to say some shit and I'll be, no, that's completely wrong. And then they'll look it up and I'll be like, well, dadgummit, knock me over with a feather. I was wrong. Typical male shit. So him saying that women have been told that they're fucking the greatest thing since sliced bread is hilarious to me, because who the fuck is telling women that? Men definitely aren't. And women don't think that highly of themselves. This is just made up. This is shit you can easily debunk if you just looked into it for 5 minutes.
She's got degrees, the high status career, and an endless supply of men giving her attention. All of this feeds.
Told you they're jealous. I told you they were jealous. Right on time.
Into the belief that she's above the average guy. But here's where the paradox comes in. If she's forced to date down, that entire superiority complex collapses. So if the fairy tale doesn't feed her ego by handing her a Prince Charming at the end, then suddenly the fairy tale isn't fun anymore. And this is exactly why the 1937 Snow White doesn't sit well with modern women. That version of Snow White earned her happy ending. She was kind, nurturing, cooperative. She deserved her prince. But this new Snow White, she wants the rewards without the effort. And here's the real problem. The modern version of Snow White can't have her cake and eat it too. Think about it. The Barbie movie got away with pushing the whole strong independent woman narrative because Ken was never Prince Charming to begin with. Barbie was always about girl power. So making her the hero didn't break anything. But Snow White is built on the idea of being.
He sold me. I'm going to watch Snow White. I guess he's watched it already, but now I want to watch Snow White because it seems pretty cool. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Rescued by the prince. And this is why it backfired.
I'd watched a lot of period drama. I'd watched a lot of rom-coms, and it really screwed me up because I thought, oh yeah, he's just going to come in like a knight in shining armor and rescue me. I want to be rescued. I was still in that mentality. I hadn't done all the self-work yet. And I thought, just somebody come and save
the Disney princess effect is something we talk about often on my channel.
me. Please choose me, pick me. I didn't know that was my mentality then. I thought I was just being myself, and I thought I was just loving life. But I realize now it's clear that I was waiting for a guy to come in on a white horse.
There it is. This is a 40-year-old woman admitting she still wants to be swept off her.
That's not. She just said she doesn't want to be swept off her feet. She said she literally just said she used to be a pick-me. Now she's not. Used to be implies past tense, not current, not present.
Her feet, just like the rom-coms she grew up watching. Now here's where Rachel Zegler completely shot herself in the foot.
No longer 1937.
She's not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be, and the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true.
The moment she opened her mouth and said Snow White isn't going to be saved by the prince, and she's not dreaming about true love, she destroyed these women's.
That's not what happened. That is not what sir, you're just making up narratives. That is not what happened. That is not what happened. The kids have been slowly being fed better and better versions of the Disney princess for the last maybe 2 decades or so. Right? I'm 43. I watched the original Snow White. They didn't have a new version of Snow White. I just had to do with the old version of Snow White. I was watching fucking Bambi and shit growing up. But no, that's not what happened. You don't know shit. Stop. You're lying.
Childhood dreams. Because like it or not, these fairy tales, these rom-coms, they shaped women's expectations.
And who wrote these rom-coms? It's so hilarious that he's not actually mentioning, who did this? Who sold women this lie? Other men sold women this lie. Men wrote the rom-coms. A man wrote Snow White. Men produced Snow White. Men did this. And you're not asking the question, why have men told women or sold women on this dream, this fairy tale of a prince rescuing them and them being a damsel in distress or whatever. That was all by design. That was all by design. That was all to make women more vulnerable, more susceptible to an abusive man. All he has to do is come in, love bomb, sweep her off her feet, and he got her. He could trap her. That's what all of that shit was about. It was always about manipulation and control. Always, right? Talk about rom-coms. In rom-coms, they push the whole pickup artist shit. The pickup artist gets the girl. The pickup artist is the funny guy. The pickup artist is the cool guy, right? The TV shows, the pickup, Charlie Sheen's character, my two guys and a baby, or whatever the fuck that show was called with Charlie Sheen, where he had a son. I don't know, Manly Men, or I don't remember. I never watched the full episode, but I know what his character was about. My Wife and Kids. No, not my Wife and Kids. How I Met Your Mother. Neil Patrick Harris character. Yeah, Hitch. Like all of these pickup artists, that's a part of it. They normalize a lot of bullshit in these movies. They normalize a lot of abuse in these movies. That's what these movies were about. And it's so funny that he's playing this one clip of this woman talking about how she is no longer a pick-me, and he's trying to act like she still is a pick-me, and as if this woman is making the same point as anything that any of these other people are saying. This woman, just for the record, sir, is the complete opposite of Megyn Kelly. I don't even know who this woman is, but I could tell based on this little bitty clip, she is the opposite of the women you're describing. She is not Megyn Kelly. She is not a pick-me. Megyn Kelly is a pick-me. She's not a pick-me. She just said she used to be a pick-me. So why are you showing her clip? You don't even know what the fuck she's really saying. Or you do when you're grifting. Probably, yeah.
More than they'd ever admit. And this is why the new Snow White was doomed from the start. Now let's give you some intel about the Prince Charming experience. Check this out.
And this is where we get our question answered about what happens with the non-consensual kiss that takes place in the 1937 version of this film. We get the lyric, "Promise to wake me with a kiss," and they both sing it to each other. So this is consent. Now he can kiss her at the end of the film and wake her up. Because remember that time that we sang about promising each other that we would wake each other with a kiss if ever the time or opportunity came for such a thing to happen?
Women's fantasies are not about equality. They're about dominance and desire.
How is that? What? What? What?
Aim for such a thing to happen?
Women's fantasies are not about equality. They're about dominance and desire. They don't want a Prince Charming who hesitates, second guesses, or asks for permission like a nervous intern.
You think a woman did this movie, this 50 Shades of Grey? What is happening? That movie and that book was written, it was written and directed by women and all that stuff. I get that. That book was not written. How do I say this? It was still written through the male gaze, though, just so we're clear. Like, when I watched the movie, I didn't get from it like, oh, this is what women want. Like, I got like, they made this shit. It was like sensationalism. That's what I got from it. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it was, though. Like, it was sensationalism. You trying to take this one book and this movie or whatever and act like this is what women want. Like I was saying, this movie was not for like, this movie does not reflect what women think. This movie does not reflect what women think. What most women think. This movie does not reflect what most women think. I'm sorry. This movie was about abuse.
They want a man who just knows, who sweeps them off their feet without turning it into a legal negotiation. And this is why feminism is.
Women love consent. I'm just want to put that out there for any man listening. Women love consent. Most women think consent is very sexy. My wife has told me that. She told me that she said this about me a long time ago. She said that one of the things she really liked about me was the fact that like I didn't pressure her to sleep with her. I really never brought it up. It never, you know, to her, I never made her feel like that was the reason why I was spending time with her or anything like that. And I asked her if we can have sex. Like I literally asked her like, oh, can we have sex? And when she said no, I was like, okay, no problem. Because she said no the first time. And I was like, okay, no problem. Let me know. And she said that she loved that about me because she was like, most of the boys I knew at that point in time, they were like, oh, just like go, 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 go. And you were like, nope, it's okay. Now, mind you, at the time, I just was doing what you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it was no biggie. I've never been pressed to have sex with a woman, ever. It's okay. She says, no, it's all good. That's always been my disposition when it came. That's always been my approach when it comes to sleeping with women or, you know, kissing or touching or anything like that. It's like, oh, you want me to touch you? Fine. No problem. But my wife told me that. She says that she'll tell you right now that's one of the things that attracted her to me. Period, point blank.
It's self-destructive because it teaches women to reject the very things they are naturally attracted to. They still want Prince Charming, but they also want him to behave like a corporate HR rep at the same time. It's a contradiction. And guess what happens when Prince Charming hesitates and asks, may I kiss you? Instead of just going for it. Instant turn off. And this is why so many modern women are frustrated, because the very men they dream about don't exist under effeminist rules. And that, my friends, is why Hollywood's effeminist fairy tales keep flopping.
He is literally telling men to not ask for consent. I don't even know how this is legal. He is literally telling men, I just made a video about this before. Is rape culture real, right? If you guys remember, I showed it. I showed the prompt from a live that I saw today. Is rape culture real? Yeah. Yeah, it's real. It's real. Listen to what he's pushing. No. Women don't want you to ask them for consent. They just want you to go. They want you to go in and take it. Spoken like a true pickup artist. Spoken like a true abuser. Like a true rapist. Like a true abuser.
Because deep down, women don't actually want what these women are selling.
Well, I like the way you started that. What shouldn't the goal be to make yourself so attractive just in heart and soul, not to mention on the outside, that does require some effort, that they're lining up, there. And if that's not happening, why?
Wow. What a goofy take. Wow. There you go, though. That's crazy. Men are just out here just telling other men like, nah, women don't want you to ask them. They just want you to take it. Woo. That's heavy. I don't know how that man has a page. I'm being honest with you. I don't know. I have no idea. I have people coming after me, and meanwhile, there are men like people will literally make videos about me, like people who are like in my same lane or whatever you would say. They'll be attacking me and not making videos about dudes like this. Like I try very hard not to focus on anything other than the mission. We got to get back focused, y'all. Y'all need to clock the fuck in and help me take down these types of pages. This man is literally, he has a huge platform and he is out here telling other men to not ask women for consent and telling men that women don't actually like men who treat the women like human beings. And y'all worried about little old me. Interesting.